Hey guys, welcome back to the Lair interviews. I'm Tom, and today we have the privilege of talking with Lynn Jeffs, the drummer from the legendary Ingested. Thank you so much for your time today, mate.
How you doing? You good?
Yeah, great, great, great. Now that we're here.
Awesome.
So, right off the bat, I just want to say I'm personally a huge fan. I have been since 2010, but even now in 2025, you guys are just still absolutely killing it.
Thank
Um,
you. Appreciate it.
Of course, man. Josh Davies, the new vocalist, he's really complementing the band's sound, and it's really working for me.
I agree.
It's going good, man. So, tell us about the making of your latest album. Have you faced any challenges during its creation, and did the experience differ at all from past albums?
You mean the Tide of Death, that album?
Well, yeah, so there's the one that you're working on now, and I'm interested in about that, but I also would like to ask that question about your last full album.
Well, I mean, for the new material, I mean, Altar of Flesh is just a standalone. So that's the first song we kind of wrote together as the new five piece of the band, really. So I mean, the way it's been different in that song, I think, is more collaborative than it has been in the past. Now we have a second guitarist in Andrew, and we've got a bass player, which we've not had a bass player in a few years since Brad left.
Yep.
So there's more ingredients to kind of throw in into the recipe, really. So that's a welcome challenge that we've not really had in the past few years. So I'd say that's the biggest difference so far.
Okay, but it's been mostly, smooth sailing. You don't have any
Yeah,
roadblocks or anything.
no, it's been exciting because now we've got more people to pull ideas from. I mean, musically it was Sean mainly, and then myself for the best part of well, 6 years really. Um, but now we've got a bass player and another guitarist, and we got now a vocalist, obviously, that's excited about writing himself. It gives us more opportunities to kind of explore more ideas, which is good.
Amazing. Great. That's so good to hear, man. Um, so, what's your songwriting process like as a group? Do you write together in the same place or do you do it remotely?
No, I mean, usually it's been Sean writes most of everything.
Okay.
Um, but he would basically write uh, basically the whole structure of the song on guitar, and then he would send it to me. I would put drums to it. I usually put drums to it blind, so I won't even ask him what he had in mind because then we can kind of usually find out if well, number one, how married he is to an idea, or whether I'm challenging what he thinks would suit that part. Sometimes it works. Sometimes he'd be like, maybe I had this in mind, more than what you put there. And then we kind of go back and forth a little bit till we're kind of happy with the structure. Um, then we send it to our vocalist to put lyrics to it if Sean hadn't already wrote lyrics because he writes a lot of lyrics as well. And then that's kind of where it sits really until we and then we just start nitpicking at it until we're happy with it. Start adding parts. But I mean, on this new material that we're starting to write, it's a little bit different because now we've got Andrew writing guitars as well. So now he's throwing entire songs into Sean, and they're kind of like going back and forth and stuff. And then it comes to me. So we are writing remotely. I mean, myself, I live in Spain. Three of the guys live in the UK, and then Andrew lives in California. So we're kind of like spread out a little bit now. So
Yeah.
it's kind of almost been impossible to get together and write in the kind of old-fashioned sense. So we are writing remotely, but yeah, now we've got more people just sending ideas across to each other. So it's exciting.
Yeah. Well, it's good that we have the option of the, Zoom calls and such, to get through that.
Exactly. Yeah, technology.
Yeah, yeah. So your sound's evolved quite a bit over the years, but at the same time, you kind of maintained its core qualities, which is
Mm.
it's really not an easy thing for bands to do most of the time. So how do you balance progression while still staying true to your roots?
Well, I mean, I think that the evolution of the sound is just it's really come apparent based on what we're into at that time more than anything. I mean, we started off as a pretty straightforward brutal death metal band, but we always liked the production of bands like Despised Icon, Beneath the Massacre. So we kind of wanted to marry like that kind of devourment sound with modern production. That was kind of the idea behind the band originally. And then obviously, deathcore kind of like, kicked off in a big way, and it's kind of hard to not be influenced by it in some way.
Yeah.
With bands like Despise Icon, etc. Um, And then from there on in, it kind of became like a little bit of a journey of what we were just listening to at that time. I mean, me and Sean always kind of like have our roots in brutal death metal. That's what we grew up listening to, bands like Discord, Deeds of Flesh, etc.
Yeah,
So I think like we've also not had many member changes until the last few years. It was the same five guys up until 2020 basically. Um,
that's
and
most of
then
it.
well, exactly. And then obviously now, me and Sean are the original members. So me and Sean have had this conversation before where, we've talked about like how because a lot of people have said this to us before that we'd never really strayed too far from our roots. I said, but how can we? It's always us two. So how can we stray too far from what we are? Because we only play to our strength and our strengths and our ability, but also our influences. So
Yeah,
even if we start adding little things and little flavors into the mix, the core sound will always be there because
yeah.
it's us.
Yeah, not too many fingers in the pie. So it's just the two of you most of the time. So it stays around the same. And that's what's so great about it, right? Is that like in the new stuff, every new album you bring out, I can tell it's a new album and it sounds like a new album and there's changes, but I still recognize elements from the first album, Surpassing the Boundaries, and the demos and stuff. It's all still there. And that's
Mm.
impressive to me.
Mm. No, I agree. I totally agree. I mean, we like to take some risks on albums, like we might add like a clean vocal here and there, but it's never like we're diving in and we're going to completely change our direction because it's not what we want to do. It wouldn't be us if we did it that way.
Yeah,
Um, and also, I think in some sense you've got to kind of respect your catalog in many ways, and respect your fans that have been there for a long time. I don't think it would be fair to them, to just completely do a left turn.
yeah,
Right, we're going to do this now. It's like, well, you got kind of honor the people that kind of got you to where you are as well.
yeah. You got to evolve, but also don't fix what isn't broken. So you guys have kind of done
Exactly,
both. Yeah.
exactly. Great way of putting it.
So, if you're willing to talk about it, if you're not, that's fine. But what's next for you guys? Like, do you have any upcoming projects or directions that you're looking at taking besides the next release?
Yes, I mean, like we are writing a lot at the moment, like I just said. We're heading to the studio sometime this summer. So that'll be the next project that we're working on. Aside from that, we're doing a lot of touring this year. We're hitting a lot of territories that we haven't been to for a while, or haven't visited that often, like Australia. Um, so that's kind of the focus for this year, and we'll get ready for another big year of touring next year. Hopefully on the back of some new music.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in July, the Cold Day in Brisbane Festival,
Amazing.
Brisbane, Australia.
I
It's
like
going
Britain a lot. That was my favorite place to visit on the last tour. I
Is that
like it a lot.
right? Is that
Yeah,
right?
me personally. Yeah, yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Is there any particular reason? Is it because of the way that we sort of get a bit rowdy, or
Well, I mean, like, I mean, the British and the Australians get on pretty well anyway. I
it's
mean,
true?
we're with a lot of Australian bands that we toured with before, like Melancholy, Psychroptic, Distant Two.
Yeah,
We've always hit it off with those guys that pretty much from day one.
those guys are
Uh,
cool.
well, I think the humor's pretty similar. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it's pretty similar, pretty dark and sarcastic at times, and dry.
We don't take
So,
ourselves too seriously.
oh, exactly. It's like self-deprecating humor. You can't really
Yeah.
do that so much in America. They don't really get it. But
Yeah.
uh, but yes, but yeah, in terms of like visiting, I mean, I like Brisbane a lot. I just like the city. It was small enough to walk around and not kind of like be overwhelmed like kind of Melbourne is. Melbourne's like huge.
Yeah.
Um, and it didn't feel overpopulated when we were there. It felt like there was enough space to kind of do your thing, and it wasn't like what London is these days or Madrid or etc.
That is true.
Um,
That is true.
yeah, and the food was great. Fans were really cool. The show was good. So yeah, it ticked all the boxes for me.
Yeah, no, fantastic, man. Um, so you've collaborated with other artists in the past. Are there
Mm.
any plans to do something like that again?
You mean with like guest artists?
Well, yeah, there's that, and there's also like, I don't know, split album, your little crossover,
Yeah,
yeah,
we have
featurette.
yeah we have talked about doing splits with bands in the past. but the problem is with it these days is that number one, you have to find another band that's in a position where they want to do that. But then it becomes like a bit of an issue with like labels and stuff and how you kind of maneuver
Yeah,
around contracts and stuff. Yeah, I'm not saying it's an impossible thing to do, but you'd have to find another band that's like kind of equal footing with you in some way, or at least like where you can. There's a crossover of fans, but you can also introduce yourself to their fans and introduce them to your fans. So it has to work for all parties.
yeah,
Um, so it is difficult, but it can be done. It has to be something we've talked about in the past, but it's also finding the right time to do something like that. And obviously, right now with the new lineup, we have the next thing has to be an album,
yeah,
really. But
yeah.
maybe further down the line, that could be a project in mind. It's not off the cards at all.
Well, that's good because there's a ton of bands that you guys would mix with so beautifully, and so I was curious: is there any band in particular that you'd like to collab with if you had the chance? Like if you could choose one band.
Hmm. Well, it's difficult because I wouldn't want to do. Do you mean like in a split sense, or maybe collabing on a song?
Well, yeah, both is good. I'm kind of in my mind thinking about splits, but a featurette, counts as well.
Well, I think like in terms of splits, I think it's difficult. There's a lot of bands actually that come to mind.
Oh, so
Uh,
many, so many.
I mean, there's a lot of bands that we're good friends with. I mean, we're actually playing a festival with in Leeds in June.
Yep,
Ghost Fest it's the return of Ghost Fest, which is kind of a big festival, big deathcore festival in the UK years ago that we used to play quite often. It kind of took a break for a while, and now it's coming back. And we're co-headlining with Signs of the Swarm and Humanity's Last Breath. That would be an amazing split, all three of us
yep,
together. That would work really well. And that would, kind of honor what I was saying, where you kind of there's a clear crossover there, but you'd all borrow off each other's fans and kind of share each other's fan base.
yep.
Yeah, I mean that could be something that would work. In terms of like getting guests, artists or vocalists. I mean, there's plenty of vocalists that we always love to work with. Corpse Grinders one.
Nice.
John Gallagher, we'd love to work with. There's plenty out there that we. I mean, we've been pretty lucky so far that we've kind of ticked a lot off our bucket list of people that we wanted to have on our albums, but there's definitely a few more.
Yep. Well, speaking of fans, we had some fan submitted questions from our followers on Metal Air because we got quite a few people who love you guys as well. Uh, it's a bit of a silly one, but I think it's all right. If Ingested were a horror movie villain, who would it be?
God, I'm totally the wrong person to ask the question to.
Oh,
Like
really?
my knowledge of horror movies is like it's embarrassing. But
I thought all metalheads love all horror, but
I
fair enough.
know I don't mind it. I mean, I'll watch him, but like Sean's the best person to ask if this. He's a fucking freak with this stuff.
Yeah,
Uh, I'll go for an obvious one. I'll say Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger. Okay. Do you know what
But
Sean would say if you asked him?
he might say Freddy Krueger as well. I know he's a big Night on Elm Street fan.
Okay.
He might say that as well.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
probably why I said it, to be honest.
I think of like a Cronenbergy kind of like the thing, like the monster from the thing from the thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Oh,
you know,
yeah.
you know,
Kind of an invisible monster, basically.
yeah, like a eldritch horror
Yeah.
abomination kind of thing. Yeah, I think that
Almost in your
works.
mind as much. I love the thing. It's a brilliant film. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Anyway, that's all that we have time for, my dude. But thank you again so much. I really look forward to seeing you guys in July at a cold day in Brisbane Festival.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks,
Nice,
man. You have a nice time. Sorry, what was that?
man. Nice talking to you.
You too, man. Take care.
Bye, man. Bye.
See ya.